You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Many people wonder if there's a secret to winning lottery games. The answer is yes, winners only lotto. Discover how to make $1,000, $10,000, or even $225,000 daily by playing the right games with the highest odds. The games to focus on are Pick 3, Pick 4, and in some states, Pick 5. Utilizing AI to track patterns in these games simplifies winning, with millions being distributed every day. This information can be easily verified on any official state lottery website. Join today or get more information by clicking the link below. See you on the winning side.
Can I share a story with you?
Okay.
So years ago, I took a course, a sales training course, and it cost $4,000 to take the course. And the course was good, and they had great trainers, but you had to go to a hotel, like every week to attend the course. And that was back in the 90s, actually the late 80s. And so what I would do—
That was a lot of money. That was a lot of money then.
That was, actually, I bought 2 seats. I bought a seat for myself and one of my salespeople.
Wow.
And what I did back then was I took a Panasonic cassette tape player, and I put it in front of the trainers. And every time, and they were good trainers. They were very professional and they were good. And so we'd go, like, say on average, you'd go once a week to a training for a couple of hours, right? And I would record them. And then the ones that I really liked, I would listen to them in my car as I went on my sales calls and did my various things. I was running a water treatment business at the time, and I was trying to become a top 10 dealer in that company. And so every time I sat in front of these guys, I said, "It's okay to record you?" "Oh yeah, you paid for the seat. You can record me." So I would record these cassettes, and then I would listen to the cassettes in my car 10, 20, 30 times. Well, within 6 months, actually within 90 days, I was able to do the training as well as the trainers could do the training. And they said to me, "How have you learned, like, how to do these complicated role plays and our procedures?" And I said, "Dude, I got you on tape. I've listened to you do it 50 times in a row. How can I not know it?"
Yeah.
But I want to say this, understand something. We've been taught in our country to sit in a class, listen to someone speak, try to take notes as fast as we can. All of you that went to high school and college, you were taught to take notes. Then you were taught to look in your notebook and then parrot back what you learned. 90% of it was lost in the hearing, and 80% of it was lost in the writing. Why did you not record your professor doing the lecture and listen to the lecture 10 times before the test? Our educational system sets people up to fail. There's no repetition. There's no repetition or reinforcement.
Right.
There's no repetition. I call this advanced audio learning. Okay. This is advanced audio learning. You have to understand that repetition and reinforcement are the parents of skill. You don't go to one class, take notes, and remember what you're supposed to know for the exam or the test. But if you recorded it and you listened to it 50 times, how would you do on the test?
Right.
Holy smokes.
Right.
I just gave you the secret to all learning in your life.
Yeah. Couple of things. And I'm going to get killed for saying this. There are some subliminal repetitions that you got in the school system for coming to school every day. When that bell rang, when they say do certain things, we were conditioned and trained to do that. Now, as for learning information about, no, there's no repetition there, but that ain't what they're trying to teach us. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to teach us that. They're trying to teach us to follow orders. When that bell ring, get in a single file line, all the subliminal stuff that was taught from the 1st grade to the 8th grade, and then from the 9th grade to the 12th grade, and even doing college. It's some subliminal stuff that we hear through repetition. That's why they want us there, 8 hours a day for 12 years. Now, as for the learning part that you're talking about, that they're teaching us to pass a test, no, it's not there. It's definitely not there at all. So they don't even do that. Second thing I want to say is when you talked about recording, that was something I used to do all the time in the 90s, early 90s. My mentor, did you know Ty Best? Tyrone
No.
Best? Okay.
No.
So he was a big time networker. He passed about a year and a half ago. But Ty used to speak all the time. And this so in the early 90s, it was not being recorded. I remember it was a event that he did in California that I went to. And I used to have my little cassette recorder. And anytime he'd talk, I come up and put it right there in front of him. And I didn't even have to ask because he knew I was going to do it. Right. And so he recorded. And I always told him for years, I said, Ty, I have heard you speak 300 times, 400 times. It's nothing you've done that can beat this little cassette that I got recorded from you that day when you got to talking for about an hour in front of that room and he got fired up and he started, oh man, I said, I have it. I have that cassette that nobody else had because I was the only one recording you. And I said, you can't repeat that. Whatever got into you that day, you can't repeat that. But I used to listen to that all the time, man. I was always over and over and over and over again. I used to do that with Earl Nightingale, just over and over and over again. Repetition is key. You said that from the beginning. You have to condition your ear to hear because look, I go back in your book sometimes and I don't even remember seeing something there. I'm like, did MJ sneak in here and include this in the book?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah.
Repetition.
Yeah, absolutely. Repetition and reinforcement is so important. And what you were doing with those great tapes is you were capturing the spirit moving through him and inspiring him.
Oh.
And so you captured it on tape because the spirit was moving through him and releasing that, and then you got it. I mean, that's genius stuff to have it on a recording.
Yep.
With somebody like that. I mean,
MJ, I used to tell people, sit up close as you can because what you want to do is capture the heart of the speaker.
Yep.
Capture what they're really, how they really feel. Feel that vibration of them by being as close as you can to them. You're going to pick up some things that you don't pick up in the back of the room. So if you can get up close as you can, you're going to feel the heartbeat of that speaker. Yeah. Because there's some things that will be transferred to you that you don't get back there.
Yeah. Now here's another. This is kind of coming to me right now, but one of the other things about having that recording is that if you listen to the same recording 50 times and you get it into your mind and your heart and into your marrow, right? Into your sales marrow, into your success marrow. There's a good one.
Right.
If you get it into your success marrow, if you come back now, say 3 years later and listen to that again, it's like a completely different talk because of the way that you've progressed in your life. So I go back to Earl Nightingale and I listen to Earl Nightingale and I go, oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's what he was saying 25 years ago. I go,
yes.
I got the Home Alone face, you know?
Yes.
You know? Right?
What was the guy? I don't know if you know the guy out in California. I don't know if he was
Ryan
Clement. No. This guy was he was a pastor. He had a church in California that was open, like where the cars would pull up.
Robert Schuller.
Yes, exactly. Robert Schuller. So he
called it the
hour of power. Yeah, hour of power. Yes. I used to love that Robert Schuller hour of power. Yeah. And so he had a speaker come in one day that spoke to his church. And he said that 2 years later, the guy came back and he asked Robert Schuller, he said, what should I talk about? He said the same thing. He said, well, the people already heard that. He said, they different now. You know what I'm saying? They're going to hear it differently now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was like, wow. Yep. That's so true,
I went to the Crystal Cathedral. I sat in on it. I went there back in the 80s. I was visiting in California and my sister-in-law lived near there, and I went and spent a Sunday at the Crystal Cathedral. It was an amazing thing. Absolutely amazing.
I love watching that guy growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Schuller was my guy.
He was,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So time is creeping up on us, man. Valerie always say you can't talk, man. We're gonna have to keep talking today because I don't know when I'm gonna see MJ again, Valerie. So let's see.
No, Tony, here's the good news. I got a new book coming. Okay.
Okay. Well, I'll hear from you.
I got a new book coming. So when that book comes out, my son and I wrote this book on a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about today. It's called Grooves.
Can both of y'all come back?
Yeah. If I can get him,
Okay.
He's busy.
I want him to tell me things about you I don't know. So that's a good thing there. So, all right. So in the book here, it says, why your friends and relatives don't necessarily want you to succeed. So why is that?
Nobody likes to be shown up. Nobody wants to hear that you got rich. Nobody wants to know that you're.
You mean your relatives who love you and
your own parents might not want you to be rich. Yeah, they don't want you to be rich, and people look. Every great idea, every amazing idea in America has been shot down, has been laughed at. They say that Robert Fulton, when he was building the steamboat, that people would literally publicly come by and look at the steamboat he was building and laugh hysterically that the thing would never work. The gentleman who invented the sewing machine, you would think the sewing machine was a pretty good invention, right? Well, that guy was so broke. He was going to a funeral. He had to borrow a suit of clothes to be able to go to a funeral, yet he invented a sewing machine. You know what people said about sewing machines when he first invented it? Wow. Why would any person want to quickly sew things and make dresses and clothes fast when they could do it the old-fashioned way by stitching it by hand?
Right.
So
Ford said that if he would have asked the American public, they would have said what they wanted was a faster horse.
Yep, absolutely. Yes. So when you say to your friends, I'm going to get rich, I found a great company, I've got some great products, they've changed my life, I love the products, they're helping me, I'm saving money, they changed my life. Nobody wants to hear that. And what your friends, relatives, and neighbors are going to say that's not going to work. That very few people succeed in that, and many people get shot down, like in network marketing and in direct selling or social selling. We're calling it now social selling, which is a great term because you need some new words. The word network marketing is a bad word, but social selling is pretty good. And social retailing is a good word. You're not gonna succeed at social retailing. It's not going to work. Many people get online. Many people don't make money. This is what your friends, relatives, and neighbors, people closest to you. It's kind of like you said, Tony. Look, we went to the school. The bell rang. We ate a ham sandwich. It was 3:00. We got on the bus. We did what they told us. Just do what we tell you.
Yeah, that's it.
Just do what we tell you. Don't shine bright.
Stay within that box.
Stay right in there.
Yeah.
Just get a pension, get a government job.
Exactly.
Don't expect to be too happy.
No.
Pay your bills.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want you to succeed. So when you go to them and you say, I'm going to succeed and I want you to come with me, that's a lot of people get blown out of selling or out of their business because people say to them, that'll never work. And that kills them. They hear that once and they're done.
This part of the book kind of helps with maybe that answer. And you talk about posture is everything. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah. So posture attracts people to you because you're not begging people. If you're begging people to accept your ideas, if you're pitching, if you're trying to persuade people, then people feel that pressure and people will resist you trying to sell them something. So a good posture means that you understand that you have the cookie. You have I've always said that you have the cookie, you have what they want. And I said in the book, it's kind of like when you if you're interviewing for a job, the job interviewer has great posture. The person that's the applicant for the job has lower posture because they want what the job interviewer has. They want the job, they want the security, they want the cookie, right? So I said in this book, I said, you need to assume the posture of an interviewer to see if someone qualifies. Like we said before, do they want to change? Do they want more money? Are they unhappy with their life? Do they want to lose weight? Do they want to save money on their electric bill? Do they want to, you have to determine those things first before you ever start presenting. So the posture of the interviewer is, I have something and you should want it. And by having good posture means you're not chasing, you don't have what we used to call commission breath. You don't have the smell of, I need the sale. I want the sale. I want to sell you. And that's good posture. Just think of if you've ever been interviewed for a job, think of how the person, they had the power. This is called frame. And in neuro-linguistic programming and neuroscience, this is called frame. Right. The person that has the frame in the interaction is the one that's a little more powerful. You have to learn how to switch frame so that you become the one with something to offer, and they want what you have to offer. And in many cases, what you have to do is you have to pull back a little bit and say, I don't know if this is really for you. I don't know if this is good for you. I don't know if you will like this. And quite frankly, this probably is not for you. And I need the person to say, now I really want you to tell me I'm really interested. Please sell me on this. Yeah.
And a lot of folks are afraid to pull it back because they think they might lose it. But if you have the right posture, you only lose what you're supposed to lose, I guess, if you have that.
People are attracted to strength.
Yes,
they're attracted to strength.
Right, yeah,
they're not attracted to weakness.
Yeah. Even in dating, it's like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I don't really need to be around you. Really, I just gotta.
Yeah. No,
what do you mean you don't need to be around? Okay.
Yeah.
You said else in the book, and this is based on once you get a person on the phone, because there's a different process now to how to get them. But when you get them on the phone, you say, listen for all the things that are happening in the background. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So, for those who have ears to hear this, right? So, so you want to look for cues that tell you what's going on with the person. So you want to have you want to be listening. I say in the book, with the ears of a kit fox, right? You want to listen for machinery, babies crying, anything that you can listen to that will help you to bond with the prospect or understand what they're going through. And if you've ever had telemarketers call you, they will ignore everything that's going on in your life, and they will just read through a script. Well, people hate that. So what I would do is, if I would hear some machinery going in the background, I would say, boy, it sounds like you're producing a lot of equipment there in your company. It sounds like your sales are good. Or if I was calling a homeowner, I'd say, I hear those kids screaming in the background. They sound like a bunch of fireballs. How many kids you got? So listen, use directional hearing and really listen to what's going on in your prospect's office. You might hear announcements. You might hear speakers going off. You could even hear, I can hear people cooking dinner. If you hear somebody cooking dinner, well, how about eating dinner? Do you know what I don't have any silverware here. I have a glass, right? Do you know what silverware sounds like on plate?
Right.
You know what it sounds like, right?
Yeah.
You hear the plates, you hear the banging of silverware on plates. You say, oh my gosh, have I called you in the middle of dinner?
Yes.
So if you're gonna make prospecting calls, be aware of what your prospects are going through.
Right.
Look, here's what you want to do in sales. Get ready for this. This is very powerful. Do not miss this. And
Okay.
write this down and listen to it 15 times. Okay. You in sales, you want to play every ace. You want to play every ace, which means that every 1% that you can get better will help you to sell more. So, for example, you want to be able to like read a personality, understand a person's personality within the first 30 seconds of meeting them. Now, you may have to learn the DISC model or, some strength finder type model in order to observe people. But when I talk to somebody on the phone or in person, I know in 30 seconds whether they're a dominator, an expressive, or they're a relator, or they're a detailer. Okay. I put them in one of 4 categories. That's 1%. That's 1%. But then I read body language. Are they agreeable? Are they nodding with me? I'm nodding with them. Are they not? That's another 1%, right? Okay. Voice modulation. If I'm on the phone, I match and mirror your voice. I have a whole chapter on matching and mirroring with the same volume and the same tone. Okay. I don't talk, hey, Tony, how you doing? If you're going, right. Hi, MJ, how are you today? I don't go, oh, Tony, I'm really excited. No. Well, that's nice, but I don't really like you, MJ. You sound like a wacko, right? That's another 1%. We're only up to 3%. See, sometimes people study a personality system. They'll study personalities. A lot of trainers have fallen into this the last 30 years. All they teach is personality because it's fun. And what's your personality? What's your wife's personality?
Right.
Get this right. It's fun. You can turn it into a 3-hour talk or a seminar.
Right.
Problem is, it's only 1%. So you got to play every ace. You have to be learning everything about using your ears, about using your eyes, about connecting. Like I learned NLP in the beginning and matching and mirroring people, right? I thought that was the key to selling. It's only 1%.
Right.
Okay. Now, if you add 100 of those things up, guess what? People say, what people say to me? They say, I don't even know why I'm buying from you, but I just feel so comfortable with you. I'm just going to go ahead and do this on faith because I feel like you know what you're doing.
Right.
And that's because I've got 100 different things that I've become good at doing.
Right. Yeah.
So don't ever think like you take one course, like NLP. Oh, once I learn NLP, I'll have it.
Yeah.
No, you got 1%.
Yeah. But it's people selling that kind of stuff out here big time. I know a guy who's selling that one thing that if you get this, which is the personalities, that your whole life is going to change and you're going to skyrocket. And I know a lot of people who've gone to do that, but it's more than that. But when you listen to somebody who's winning in life financially, you want to believe them like a Tony Robbins or somebody who says that kind of stuff. But I agree 100% that it's much more than that. And like you said, playing that ace is so important when you're trying to. Okay, here's another thing. Let me ask you this. Somebody who's listening who has a problem with sales and think that now they're going to say, which they've said before, why do you have to come up with all these techniques and stuff that you have to use? It feels like you're tricking a person. And why do you have to do that?
Yeah. So the answer there is that the most influential people in our world over history have been the greatest persuaders in the world. Now, you don't want to think of Martin Luther King as a
salesman. Yeah, but he was.
But I'm going to tell you something.
Yes. He was.
That dude could close.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to tell you somebody who people hate. Hitler.
And a great closer.
Exactly.
I mean, he understood the power of suggestion like nobody has in history. He had billboards, sides of buildings.
Yes.
He had slogans, chants. You want to look at a really good marketing program?
Yeah.
Look at Hitler's program.
Yep.
Amazing, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's be a little more positive.
Yeah.
Mother Teresa, they say that Mother Teresa's foundation, when she died, had over $1 billion in it. You gonna tell me that little lady couldn't sell?
I know.
She sold like crazy.
Crazy.
But
Yeah.
you know what? People that can persuade people to do things,
Yeah.
they are the people that are influencers. They also are the people that become the wealthiest and the freest. Become a persuader. Don't look at sales. Stop looking at sales as some manipulation. It's not manipulation. A good persuader, a good mother persuades her children to live a godly life.
Right.
She persuades them.
Yeah, it's like people don't realize that these folks that you look up to have learned these techniques. They have learned the way to present. They have, Trump is a good salesman, even though he uses, people think he's kind of like, he doesn't use the right word. He uses the perfect words for the world that we live in. He's hitting people with the same little stuff over and over and over and over. And he knows how to persuade people. You know what I'm saying?
Persuasion is good. Shouldn't teachers persuade their students to learn?
Yeah. Yeah.
They should. Shouldn't pastors persuade their congregants to live a God-filled life?
Right.
Sure. Yes.
Should attorneys persuade the jury? It's always, we can just change the term from sales to persuasion. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the power of persuasion. But people, when they hear that word sales, boy, they just, oh God, no, don't want to be that.
What do you think a coach does when he comes in halftime and his team is getting
He's
beat?
selling his team on, going back out there to win. Yeah.
He's persuading, motivating, and inspiring. That's all sales is.
Yes, it's all.
That's all sales is. And if you're going to be good in any job, if you're going to be good, I don't care if you're in accounting, you think you're not in sales. I don't care if you pump gas. I don't care if you're on an oil rig. I don't care. I don't care what your job is.
Right.
You become a good persuader. You become a good motivator. You become a good inspirer. You will get promoted. You will get increases, and you will put $2 to $5 million in your retirement account, which is what you need. I watched the guy from Shark Tank the other day. He goes, once you make $5 million, he said, put that away in a secure place. Now you can do anything you want.
Wow.
He goes, because once you have $5 million, you can live off the interest pretty well.
Yes.
Even if the interest is low, even if the economy's crash, put it in a secure place. He said, once you make your first $5 million, bank that, and then the world's your freaking oyster. Right. Then go for it.
You do what you want.
Right. Yeah. But most people don't understand. The first thing they should do is they should look to put $1 million in their account.
Yeah.
And then 2 million. And if you want to live frugally, 2 million, you can live on that interest. But if you're not progressing toward that, then become a persuader and become an inspirer and a motivator, and you'll get pay raises and you'll be able to build that retirement account.
Yeah, in this capitalistic system and through the school system, that's not taught. So when people grow up hearing, what they're hearing is, if I go work somewhere for 40 years, then I'm gonna have some money put away. Now they should know that that's not there anymore. They should, if it ever was there. I don't know if it was, but maybe it's something that you can live off of. But it's not talked about throughout the system to go do that. It's almost talked about. It's almost make you feel bad if you're going to try to make $1 million or $2 million or $3 million. You shouldn't do that. That's no. That's you're a bad person if you do that. So let me go through this because we gotta run through some of these. How your number of daily dials and your prospect list work against you. What did you mean by that? I don't know if we're still doing it that way now, but how did that work against you during that time? Or what do you mean by that?
Well, what I meant by that is that people typically would set a goal that they could never hit. So they would say, do 100 dials a day.
Right. I got you.
But you'll never do that.
You're right.
You'll never do 100 dials. So So whenever I'd say I do a training, right? And I'd say, how many dials are you going to do? and they go 100. And I'd be like, BS. You're not going, you set these goals and you never hit them and they don't satisfy you. You would be better to say that by noontime, I'm going to have 10 great conversations with people. There's a friend of mine out in California. His name is Fred Wilson, and he's a real estate genius. And he says that every day you need to have 10 conversations with people about real estate. And he says, if you're in the real estate business, you need to be talking about homes and about change. Because he says in real estate, you understand that everybody needs shelter. Everybody needs shelter, and there's change is always coming. So people either want to downsize, upsize, have a second home, a vacation home, and you need to talk to 10 people a day to get into the conversations. And he said, and that way you'll be able to sell 10 homes a month, right? Which is a lot of, which is a lot, way more than average. So you want to find ways to get into conversations rather than just dialing and leaving messages. You want to find out ways to get face to face, even if it's only 5 people a day. If I have 3 good conversations on Zoom with prospects per day, that's a really good day. Sometimes I go 5 or 6, depending on how our marketing is going. And then I know that the pipeline is getting filled up and it's going to be a huge windfall for us. The more people I talk to, the more people I connect to on video, like we're doing today.
Yeah.
If I can do that 3 times a day, I'm going to see success in 30, 60, 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Another thing too, I forgot when you was talking about the steam engine guy, it made me think about, and Valerie texted me about Walt Disney. You remember how Walt Disney used to say, he said he used to talk to 14 or 15 people about his new ideas. And he said, if anybody said, I like that, he was scratching. He said he wanted everybody to say, hell no, that's not going to work. What's wrong with you? He said he wanted everybody to say that. But if somebody said, yeah, that might work, he'll scratch it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the whale hunters versus the warriors? And now this is in this book, The Activity Hustle and the Power of Action. What are you talking about with whale hunters and the warriors?
Well, look, one of the problems that people have is they often get very excited about getting the big customer, the big deal, and getting the whale, right? Because that's exciting, right? I got GE to buy our program. I know you said it before. I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a gal who can do this. I know she's up in the gym.
Well, if he gets it, it's over with.
Yeah. And so the warriors, it's the idea of that is if you run into a whale, that's great. But usually it's the small deals on a consistent basis that really build your wealth. And like in networking, rather than going for that guy, that gal that's going to be huge, you'd probably be better off with like 10 really good people that just do consistent actions and are not superstars. Like if you had 10 people that were doing half of what you were doing in social retailing, you'd probably make 200 to 300 grand a year depending on the social retailing program. Right. So I like consistency and I really enjoy working and I really enjoy setting new destinations. So that's what pulls me forward is consistently talking to people and going for the next. Now, sometimes the deals get bigger and bigger, which is cool. But I got to tell you, we have an internal podcasting business and we just did it. We just did a ton of Zoom calls with people that needed messaging for their corporations. And Corey and I we were on 5 calls a day with people saying, what is this internal podcast that you do? And we invented a way to do internal podcasts for companies and do messaging and training with a podcast. And and it shot off into a multi-million-dollar business for us.
Wow.
But in the beginning, I mean, literally at the end of the day, we would be like, man, I can't do another.
Yeah.
I can't do another Zoom call.
Yeah.
I got these lights. I got 5 different lights in my studio here, burning the shit out of my eyes.
I know.
So at the end of the day, we'd be like, oh man, but consistently every day, the small accounts add up to, they literally add up to generational wealth.
Yeah. I had a guy who was doing, he was starting a business up, and he had this presentation he would do, and he was looking for investors, and he would go and sit down with investors and talk for like 2.5 hours. And he did that for maybe 5 months, talking to 1 or 2 people a day before he even got his investment money. But he said, people think that it was easy for me to do this. He said, they don't know my story behind the scene, what I did. He said, it was one guy that he sat down with for 2.5 hours. And at the end, the guy says, now, what is it that you do? He said, I'm not about to go over this again for 2.5 hours with you. I had to move on. But he's like, I went through the numbers and people didn't see that part. That's how it works.
Many people wonder if there's a secret to winning lottery games. The answer is yes, winners only lotto. Discover how to make $1,000, $10,000, or even $225,000 daily by playing the right games with the highest odds. The games to focus on are Pick 3, Pick 4, and in some states, Pick 5. Utilizing AI to track patterns in these games simplifies winning, with millions being distributed every day. This information can be easily verified on any official state lottery website. Join today or get more information by clicking the link below. See you on the winning side.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.